A pleasure to meet y'all at last. As you can see right now, I'm still wearing my Under Armour on account of the fact that, well, let's face it, it gets cold a lot nowadays. And there's also going to be lots more questions of mine that I still have to answer, despite the fact that it is getting much colder. This is not a very well insulated room. But then again, considering how many questions there are left to answer, then I might as well just take charge and keep on going. The only thing I have to worry about is the cold really getting in my Under Armour, but until then, I can pretty much just keep on going here from this point on. So for today's question, we got ourselves actually a pretty darn good question. I mean, I really love this next question that I'm going to get ready to answer very soon, but let's get the catch here. For anybody out there who's watching this episode right now, this question relates to two particular very, very popular music genres out there. And there's a lot of stuff I tend to really go over about it, and it wouldn't be very pretty if you kept on watching something like this. So if you intend to watch this episode, then go right on ahead. There's no way that I can stop you. But if you do not care about anything that can be heard in this episode that relates to extreme frustration and the like, then my suggestion would be that you just click away right now, watch a different video, unless you want to stick around and just listen to my point of view on this particular answer to the question that I'm giving out. So, you have been warned. There's plenty of other questions that have this kind of stuff in it as well. So, just like those questions, if you've seen them as well, then, well, if you've already seen them and you've already watched all the way to the end, then you might as well watch this one all the way to the end, because this will drive you bats. And speaking of drive you bats, this guy here from Twitter, he asked me, why is that both rap and metal music drive you bats no matter what? And of course, drive you bats might be a famous little phrase right there. But then again, that's probably not in any ways relation to the question. The question was, why is that I hate rap and metal? And there's actually more than just 5 simplistic reasons as to how both of those genres are just super duper awful no matter what people do with it. If they sing it on their own terms, if somebody were to download somebody who does rap or metal music as well, I still do not give a darn, a diving darn that is, about how this music goes out. Metal and rap music just suck. Right there, they just suck. Both of those genres right there, they just suck in total, right? For those who are metal and rap fans, do not even try to start with me as to how awful rap and metal music is, because we know for a fact that they're both awful. And if you haven't already watched a video of mine of which I made a reaction video as to Elton John and rappers with a Snickers bar in it, then it would have given you a beyond the basics type idea as to how awful rap is, and it just continues to try to make comebacks despite how so many people have despised this newer version of rap compared to 20 years ago, in which rap had been quite a massive success in American culture. The bottom line here is that rap music sucks today, but people still continue to listen to it. Same thing would apply with metal music. With modern day metal music, it just gets far worse than anybody would ever imagine, because rap was around since 1992, metal's been around since 1995, and of course, it would be after 1995 that both of those genres were around at the same time. The bottom line here, though, with both those genres still being in existence, in contrast to other discontinued genres out there, including college rock, disco, and of course the original version of rock and roll, there has been so many complaints as to how metal and rap music continue to thrive within our nation's culture. And of course, here's my little point of view based on this sort of skeptical relation with both these genres. What I've known about these genres is actually far beyond the point as to how I just despise those genres in general so darn much. I mean, I wouldn't even give any of these artists of both rap and metal a second of my life, or I would give them more likely an enormous piece of my mind to all of them, to let them know right away that their genre and their content sucks. No matter how hard they try, they're just not really doing any better than they used to. Rap and metal music was so back in the 90s and 2000s, but here in the 2010s, not so much. And that is because of the alternative genre. The alternative genre has been around since the 80s, but now, here in the 2010s, we've had ourselves far bigger successes in the genre overall, in contrast to 15 years ago, of which we had ourselves lots of subgenres, including power pop and other types of rock and other variable ways that any genre out there could be very big in a selling point. 2003 to 2008, around those times in which music was starting to really thrive based on the pop genres and other kind of dance-related genres. That's because bass was becoming the very big picture in the world of music. But nowadays we're looking to treble. And treble has been far overlooked and underestimated for at least 20 years. Bass had been the very big picture, but now it's treble that seems to be taking over. With rap and metal music though, they still want to continue using that bass. Something that people are not liking anymore. We're not liking the bass anymore. Anybody out there who enjoys metal or rap, alright? We enjoy treble nowadays. And we've been looking forward to alternative related music out there, and not any of the kind of music y'all listen to anymore. I don't even know what would go through people's minds as they just try to watch something like this, of which there's someone on here actually saying that rap and metal music has sucked since recently, and we have not been able to do anything else about it. I mean, people just don't ever want to look for better music nowadays. They just want to keep on sticking to what was in the past. And even though they're not from the time in which they originally came out, they still just want to keep on getting these genres through as if they're the biggest genres in the whole universe. But, get this, rap and metal are not the biggest genres in the known universe. It's alternative and rock and pop and dance and other kinds of genres out there that we've known far better within the last 50 years or so. And with other genres out there, disco, college rock, the original version of rock and roll out there that have been discontinued, we have done everything we could to try to bring those genres back. With certain songs out there from the last 10 years, and it gave us a pretty good idea that sometimes these older genres that have been discontinued for more than 30 years can sometimes come back for more here in the 2010s. We've had plenty of songs out there that have used elements taken from those genres out there, and we've actually enjoyed them pretty darn well to this day. And despite the fact that how disco is at least 35 years of age nowadays, we've done everything we could to just keep those kind of genres thriving. We've always loved that disco type rhythm back in the day, and we never wanted to let it go. We've never wanted to let it go. Not even after 1981. But it was ultimately power ballads, pop, and hard rock, other genres like those that have been taking over other famous genres throughout the 80s. And of course, in 1995, we've had metal music since 1995. And that was because of the band Metallica's and its influence based on the genres hard rock, punk rock, other genres like those throughout the 80s. And it wasn't up until 1995 that metal ultimately became a genre in the world of music. For 23 years now, we've had ourselves an extremely high tempo, we've had ourselves throat-shredding howls, we've had ourselves a lot of artwork that's dedicated to death and misfortune. Whereas with rap, we've had ourselves golden medallions with the $sign on them, we've had sunglasses, backwards-facing ball caps, we've had ourselves jewelry of all types, we had ourselves golden teeth, we've had ourselves snazzy cars, low riding especially. It's any of those elements that I've been describing that make up those genres. I mean, with rock, we've had ourselves mostly guitars, amps, and plenty of strums and otherwise that take place. With country music, we've had ourselves cowboy hats and boots. We've had ourselves the deserts, of which we've had ourselves pickup trucks. I mean, although it may sound like I'm actually making fun of these genres by just describing what makes up the genres in total, there's just really not much else that I could really say about them. Those genres just suck, and there's really nothing else we can really do just to try to talk about it. And this is because of the fact that, well, a lot of people even agree with the fact that rap music is just awful nowadays compared to 20 years ago. It became an international sensation throughout the world, but nowadays rap has become a little more than just a laughingstock in the music enterprise around the nation. And the same thing would apply with metal music, even though there's probably actually quite a few out there who tend to put metal music out there, and they tend to really dig it in because of its high tempo percussion and high tempo. I mean, even I cannot really do it that well, but for those who are very skilled out there who tend to create high tempo, now tempo is actually known as the speed of the rhythm. Now with a high tempo you get, and just with traditional tempos, I mean, metal music is just what? It's just mostly a different tempo, really. It's just a very high tempo rhythm beat of percussions and guitars and the like. And it's also throat shredding howls that just make up the genres overall. I mean, those are the two primary factors of metal music: high tempo and demonic howls. And there's also rap music, which there's two primary factors that apply to it specifically. There's expensive merchandise, and there's also the non-harmonic thread to it all that just makes up the genre to being much different than other music. Even country music growlers out there, I mean, they wouldn't even top rap, but get this. Rap has not ever been topped by anything else these days, and that's because we've been looking forward to just having other genres out there take over rap, and that's just the end of the line right there. That's just the end of the big picture right there. And I don't see anybody else trying to change this, because if anybody out there is still actually watching this right now, based on the fact that how I'm pretty much just venting out my frustrations on these two genres being the very worst out of any kind of genre of music I've come across, then, well, go ahead, just put your comments down below and just really vent your frustrations out to me. Because get this, I can have those comments held for review or even deleted. So you can just go at me with everything you got, but get this. There's no way you're ever going to win. Not with somebody around here who controls this channel overall. And there's no other possible reason for me just to go over and say this, that rap and metal music sucks. Because there's actually a lot more behind it than just everything else I've described so far. But that would probably be too easy for me to explain. And as such, I'd much rather just skip it. But that is all for right now, and if you want to see more, go down on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.